Everybody, what's going on? I'm Fabian Calvo, Fabian for Liberty. FabianForLiberty.com is my website. Thank you for joining me, Trudgers of Truth. In this video, I want to talk about the G20 meeting of finance ministers that took place over the weekend and some of the things that were talked about and how it's basically leading to one of my predictions that is likely going to happen this year. Certainly, I believe will happen by next year. I want to remind everybody, tickets still on sale for my April 30th Los Angeles event. I'll be teaching the 4 new rules of real estate investing, how to set up your own virtual real estate business. The link to register is down below. Also, this week, 11 a.m. Pacific time, I'll be hosting on Wednesday, a free webinar on also the 4 new rules of real estate, breaking through some myths. And the reason I talk about this and I talk about basically real estate is, as I've often said so many times, I'm a real estate guy. It's what I do. It's how I make my living. It's how I've made my living the last 15 years of my life. It's, I haven't had a job since I was 21 years old because I kept getting fired from jobs, working for someone else. And the fact of the matter is, despite what I'm about to talk about, which is kind of, not all rosy and sunshine and lollipops, there is tremendous opportunity out there. And it's not just in real estate, it's in everything. Markets have fundamentally changed though. So, markets today, as far as like real estate is concerned, I don't want to invest for long term in real estate. I want to get in and out of real estate deals with no debt. And that's what I think is working best in an environment where you have total rampant manipulation taking place. And, I look at the landscape and I ask myself, people often, libertarians and, conservatives, thinkers, critical thinkers, it's not just libertarians and conservatives that watch these videos, but I think people that are thinking, that want to get outside of the box of the mainstream media, they understand that the economy is fundamentally changing and the world is fundamentally changing. And the truth is that, look, service type jobs are going to be replaced by robots. It's already happening. And so that leaves and begs the question, what do you do? What do you do for income? What do you do to support your family? What do you do to, and there's a lot of, just as many of those service jobs are leaving, I believe there's equal amount of opportunity that's being replaced because of the internet. And, I'm sorry if you think that an electric magnetic pulse, which of course could happen and is a pretty, potential threat, is just huge in the United States. But if that would stop you, the threat of that or the threat of the internet being shut down would stop you from using the benefits, the positive benefits of the internet to empower yourself through education, through just a variety of other things that you can do. I mean, the fact is that myself, I can only speak for myself, I don't know about you, but I've used the power of the internet to educate myself and to have my education grow exponentially. I mean, before, I remember, in the early 2000s, it was just, I was reading all the time, and they still read. Now I can, watch, great discussions. Like yesterday, I'll give you a perfect example. Yesterday, I went to go see this movie, Risen. It's about the resurrection of Jesus. And, very interesting movie. It wasn't a great movie, but it certainly raised really interesting questions. I'm a Christian. I believe, Jesus rose from the dead. And I went later on and I heard this incredible discussion. It was a debate, if you will, between an atheist and someone who said, no, there's conclusive proof that Jesus rose from the dead. And both of them made interesting points. And I'm like, I wasn't there. The event took place 3 years ago, but I was able to watch it on the internet. So the internet gives us the ability to go to complete darkness and, watch some incredibly disturbing things and read some, just completely fabricated, made up things, or help enlighten us and educate ourselves and learn about other experiences and other people and how we can be the best we can be. So with that said, anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way because, I'll get people like here's another thing. I'm kind of ranting here and I promise I'll get to the G20 thing, which is important. It's a big deal. It's one of my big predictions that I'm talking about. Global stimulus is coming, and I'm going to break that down. But I did a video about Donald Trump the other day about, I think when Donald Trump releases his tax returns, and look, I don't dislike Donald Trump. There's things about him that I like, things that he says that I like, but I'm so beyond the two-party system and the illusion that somehow creates that, one candidate over another is going to fix things. None of these people will fix anything. You want to fix things in your life, start with yourself. That's what I believe. So, I said some things about Donald Trump, and people are like, oh, well, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. And I'm thinking, I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, like, does this person really think I give a crap whether they subscribe or unsubscribe? Like, I don't care. Like, God bless you. I wish you the best. And, whatever compelled you to write some 3-paragraph, synopsis on why you're unsubscribing to my channel, like, more power to you. That's great. I'm glad your voice is being heard. I very rarely ever censor my my comments on my YouTube channel unless people are just saying completely, just gross, slander and just making stuff up, or character assassinating other people that, are sharing their viewpoints. But the point is that, look, I am someone that's a critical thinker, I believe. There's not many of us, I think we're an endangered species out there. And I don't do these videos for popularity. I do these videos to share my opinion and to try to be of service to people that want to empower their lives and realize what's going on. And again, it's strictly just my opinion. Don't take my word for anything. Do your own research. Let's talk about the G20. G20 finance ministers met over the weekend. The Federal Reserve was there, the Bank of England, all the other banks in India, China, around the world, right? Top 20 economies, emerging economies, and top 20 economies. They meet together, and they're talking about how, they're a little bit concerned about global growth, but no pledges were made for having a joint effort to boost global growth. And I find that very interesting because, remember, anytime you have bureaucrats getting together that are really trying to micromanage and socially plan economies, these central planners come together and they say they're not going to do something, that means it's either already in the works or it's already being planned and the plan's already been complete. And I have no doubt there is completed plans for a global stimulus. Now, when will the global stimulus have? What will it look like? When will it happen and what will it look like? Well, certainly we saw, at the beginning of February, we saw the stock market up and down. At the beginning of the year, was off to a rocky start. Now it's approaching 17,000. Remember, my prediction is 20,000. There's no way that the globalists who want to have Hillary Clinton in office are going to allow a stock market crash or an economic crash prior to her being elected. I just don't believe that is going to happen under no circumstances whatsoever. And so that's why you're seeing this scene continue to just kind of like drag on and drag on. Now, of course, no amount of central planning can stop the free hand of the market. When the free hand of the market shows up, it's game over. It is like it's like this quickening where it comes in and it just destroys all of the malinvestments, all of the fabricated wealth that's been created. We saw this happen in 2008, but since 2008, it's actually gotten much larger. It's gotten much larger on the global stage. And the central planners, they know this. They know what's happening. I think they're trying to freak out. I mean, look, a couple years ago, you still have it ongoing. You had bankers that are committing suicide or being killed, suicided. You have all these different just chain of events that are taking place that have led to, I believe, these bankers coming together and say, look, a lot of people think that we no longer have the ability to boost growth. And I've said I don't believe that. I think that certainly they've exposed all of their weapons, but the amount of those weapons are going to be fundamentally increased. When we begin to see real fractures in the economy, when we begin to see derivatives, just a point of a derivative or 0.5% of derivative portfolios beginning to implode, when we begin to see real systematic debt failures by the Chinese, bank runs taking place in some of these other emerging countries, when we begin to see the stock market in America, when it comes out that it's complete fraud, smoke and mirrors. I mean, I could go on and on and on, right? You're going to see some serious leg downs in the economy. Real shockwaves will be sent. I mean, look, just a few weeks ago with the Brexit plan of June 23rd, I believe it is, where England, the UK may leave the 28 euro block. You had people lined up in London to go buy gold. People freaked out, right? So they're trying to just keep things as calm as possible. And what I like is that if you monitor mainstream media, look at where the attention is. Has the attention been on anything economic? Has this campaign really been about anything economic whatsoever? Really what it is more, the Democrats on one side talk about socialism really, and it's like all the poor, they don't have an opportunity, it's a 1% of 1% have all the wealth. They talk about that, and then on the other side you basically have, what equates to blaming other countries for economic woes and blaming Democrats. It's like this blame game. No